Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about what was announced in watchOS 10 at Apple's WWDC 2023 event. So let's jump right in. watchOS 10 marks the 10th major version of watchOS for the Apple Watch. So Apple has made some major changes in this version compared to the previous version, and it will change the way you interact and use the Apple Watch. So let's first go over widgets. So when it comes to widgets, Apple has added the stacks to like watch faces. So you can have your normal watch face as you normally would, but when you scroll through the digital crown, you can see the stacks of different information. So for instance, you can have like a weather widget or an activity ring widget. And you can also see like calendar events or any information that you decide to add. And it just makes it easier to view that glanceable information in a nice, bubbly way. Another thing Apple focused on in watchOS 10 was with app optimization for the larger displays. So over the coming years, we've seen the Apple Watches increasingly get bigger. And this has been seen with the Apple Watch Series 7, where Apple thinned out the bezels and left us with a larger display. And then now, last year, the Apple Watch Ultra came out, which gave us a 49mm display, and the Series 8 retained that 45 and that 41mm display, which made navigating the Apple Watch easier. So now this time around, Apple's going to make each of the apps revamped. So they're revamping each one. And so an example they showed in the keynote was with the weather app. The weather app retained like that iOS-like background where you can see the conditions showing up for that particular city. And they also provided complications in the bottom showing wind speed, wind direction, UV index, things like that. It was well more taking advantage of the display. And on the screen here, you can see that there's an example of the activity rings. And so they're showing the stand rings right now, they're viewing the stand rings, but the background takes color of the particular ring you're looking at. So for instance, the stand ring is blue, so the background shows up in blue. You can see your rings in the top left-hand corner, and you can also see how far or what percentage of the rings they've completed. And as you scroll through the other metrics, that adapts and changes. But as you can see, it is taking more space of the screen and actually utilizing more of it. So that is one of the ways Apple has updated watchOS 10, and I think it's going to make using the Apple Watch easier and a more enjoyable experience. Now let's talk about watch faces. So in watchOS 10, Apple added 2 new watch faces. If you're a Peanuts fan, Apple has added some new Snoopy watch faces. So the tagline is "Happiness is Snoopy on your wrist." So if we look, we have 2 watch faces here with Snoopy. One shows Snoopy against a grayish, like comic style background with Woodstock sitting on the hands of the time, And then we also have Snoopy in his Joe Cool outfit with a frisbee in his mouth. And all these are animated, and if you do go watch the keynote, you will see some of those animated watch faces. And the one we have on the right is the palette watch face, and Apple says that it shifts throughout the day, so these colors will be different. And what's cool is each arm has their own distinct color, but as they move across the watch face, that color almost fades into the background and mixes with the other colors. It's a pretty cool watch face, and it's a nice addition to go along with the new updates that they've made so far in watchOS. And of course, Apple can't update watchOS without adding some new health and workout features. So some of the features Apple added was better connectivity with bikes. So now you can use some of the metrics that your bike tracks, and it will automatically be added to the workout app on your Apple Watch. And something cool they did was they had your Apple Watch connect with your iPhone. So those metrics could be shown on your screen. So let's say you mount your iPhone to a bike, for instance, and you want to view your metrics live and all the time. You can just put your iPhone right in the middle, and it'll automatically be connected with your watch. So you can just see without having to go like this and see, oh, look, what's my metrics? So now you can just view all that information. It's more accessible. And they also improved some accuracy for some workouts like golfing and other things like that. They did do some demos in WWDC with some certain applications, but if you want to check that out, just go to Apple's webpage or go to the YouTube channel, and they do have the live stream event that you can just replay and watch over again. But overall, they did add some nice features with workouts, and there's obviously more, but this video ended up being like 20-30 minutes, so we're not going to go too in depth. Apple also focused a lot on Topographic Maps. So now you have a different map mode in the Maps application, and this will allow people who hike to see more elevation, more trail options, contour lines, and things like that. This will also give them more depth, so they can see where some points were higher in their hike and where it was lower. And you can also see where you've passed a certain threshold of elevation, so that's another feature they've added. And they also improved a lot of things with waypoints in watchOS, which is useful. So you can see whenever you reach an area where you lost cell connectivity, so that will be marked in the map automatically. And you can also see a point in the map where you can communicate with SOS emergency services. So that's probably very useful for people who do go hiking, and I think it's going to make a big impact on their usage of the Apple Watch. Another thing Apple focused on was mental health. So one of the things they added was a feature called Log Your State of Mind. So in the mindfulness app, you're able to log your state of mind and answer a couple little questions on your watch, so you can get a better idea on how you're feeling and how's your mental health state for the day. And along with this, they have some animations to go along with them. And it looks pretty nice. The event does provide more in-depth information on that, but overall, I think people will benefit from this feature being there. So it just keeps showing Apple's push for mental health and everything like that. So we've reached the end of the video. So now let's cover the compatibility and which devices will be able to install watchOS 10. So if you have an Apple Watch Series 4 or later, you will be able to install this update. And as long as you have an iPhone XS, XR, or later, then you will, with iOS 17 installed, you will be able to download this to your Apple Watch. And so these updates will be released in the fall. There is no exact date at this time, but usually they will release alongside the iPhone 15 lineup and the Apple Watch Series 9, and whatever else Apple launches at usually their fall September event. So anyways, guys, hope you guys found this useful. Have a great day. See you in the next one.